All right, welcome back to Onebar and Lupagus Show. I'm Lupagus here with Justin from the Purple Persuasion. Justin, happy freaking birthday, man.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
1 year older, 1 year around the sun again. So it's good to be alive. Thankful.
Yeah, you're a long way from looking as old and as gross as I am. So you got a long way to go to get there. All right. Again, if you guys not followed Purple Persuasion yet on Twitter, be sure to do it. I would assume by now you all have. This is like one of our biggest segments of the week. So get over there, follow them. All kinds of Vikings news, constant. Even when there isn't anything. But this week, OTAs, you're going to be busy.
Yeah, we're back. OTAs tomorrow starts up. And I think they do like 2 days on, and then they're off Wednesday, back on Thursday. So we get a good amount of content this week. We'll see probably a lot of Sam Darnold action and obviously J.J. McCarthy. But it should be a fun week.
And we will hear from beat reporters, right? I mean, they actually get to go in and watch these. This isn't like the rookie minicamp where we're actually going to get some good nuggets.
Rookie minicamp, they only got 1 day. I think it was Friday, and then they practice Saturday and Sunday, so we don't know what happened on Saturday or Sunday. So what all the beat writers, whatever they're making their assumptions off of, was all strictly what they saw in a brief practice on Friday, because there's more restrictions on rookie minicamp. So expect a lot of OTAs. And I think sounds like Vikings social media is going to step up their game. There was a lot of people calling them out for how bare and sparse their rookie minicamp compared to other teams were. So I do expect a lot more content from them, videos and photos and all that kind of stuff. So it should be fun.
We need it. And again, don't forget Tuesday, Justin will be on the show with even a more special guest, John freaking Randall.
Absolutely.
Do not forget to tune into that. It's going to be fantastic. Talking about Hall of Famer. Hell yeah, it's going to be fun. Cannot wait for that. All right, let's get into this. Mike Florio came out saying the Viking, this whole tampering thing, could be hindered because of Falcons executive Rich McKay is on the competition committee. Wouldn't there be like an exemption? Like if you're like, whatever the hell they call that in court, like if you have some kind of interest in it, you think they would take him out of this whole thing, right? I mean, to me, I think it's kind of like, what the hell?
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I think the point of Florio's article really was just to expand, saying that, like, obviously Kirk Cousins tampered and, it's pretty obvious, but it's like, how much does the NFL want to dig into it? Because they could be like, kind of turn a blind eye to the whole thing, given that, he is correlated to the NFL competition committee. If they really did want to dig into trying to find some kind of tampering allegations, it's pretty obvious. So I think his purpose of his whole point was, how much is the NFL going to turn a blind eye to the whole Atlanta Falcons tampering thing? I think the NFL is aware that all teams do it, but Florio's been really on this and really hounding him on it. And I think the Vikings will get something out of this whole thing. I don't think it's going to be a first round pick. We've talked about that before, but maybe some pick swaps mid round, or maybe third at best, or something like that. And I do think the Vikings have kind of, we talked about the arbitration issue last week from Charlie, the Pioneer Press. This is going to be interesting how things unfold over these next couple months. But in theory, the NFL could just be like, we didn't find anything. And, how much are they going to dig into the phone calls, the text messages, rewatching the interviews of Kirk. And it wasn't just one or two comments he made. It was like multiple. So, if they don't do anything to the Falcons, I'd be pretty shocked. And I think it sets a tone that's bad for the league. So we'll see what happens.
All right. The Vikings did add a couple, not new phase. I mean, James Lynch was brought back this week. Also, Bob Tunyon was brought in, former Packer. And the rumors about Hunter Renfrow being a potential target for the Vikings. Yeah. What do you think about that? Hunter Renfrow as wide receiver 3.
Yeah, that was an interesting piece by Bill Barnwell at ESPN, one of the insider pieces that he had. And yeah, he listed like 10 trades that will happen or should happen. Some of it was kind of opinionated. I haven't really seen the traction anywhere else outside of him, but I think it's a logical fit. He had a really solid 2021 season, 2022 and 2023 injuries, and they brought in Jacoby Myers, and he got kind of pushed down the depth chart. Obviously, their quarterback situation's pretty much a catastrophe over there for the Las Vegas Raiders. So I think he's a good fit. I mean, I think the Vikings are kind of sold on Powell being number 3, but it doesn't hurt. Maybe at this point you could probably get him for a vet minimum deal. Maybe they could sign him if nobody's picking him up. I think after week 1 of the season, they can sign any players and none of the money is guaranteed. So maybe they're waiting till after week 1 of the season to maybe fill that wide receiver 3 role, maybe seeing what Powell or Jalen Naylor can bring to camp. They also got that other guy. I think he played for the Titans or something. I'm blanking on his name. Yeah. So we'll see what they do. I think they have some options. They brought a lot of tight ends too, which kind of has me worried about TJ Hawkinson, which I wrote about earlier today, from Ben Gosling. That's a whole nother story and topic. But yeah, it's I'd be a fan of him. I think he's got a lot of potential. And, Renfro did put up some good numbers when he's healthy. And I think as a wide receiver 3 type role, I don't think it could hurt for the price that he'll probably bring with this, kind of late in the game for free agency.
I just thought it was kind of odd because I'm pretty high on Paul myself, and I think there's other needs that need to be touched more. But I wouldn't hate it. I mean, it's Hunter Renfro. I mean, the dude's shifting.
Yeah, I think they have bigger needs too. I agree, like depth pieces, other spots, and I don't know. Jalen Naylor kind of shows some flashes, but he's injury prone. I like Powell. I would be fine. I think it's one of those positions where it seems like a big deal, but in the grand scheme, is what are you going to maybe put up 250 yards, maybe a couple touchdowns. So I don't know. It's minor in the grand scheme of things, but would be cool.
Yeah. Alec Lewis was out this week, kind of being negative Nancy for the most part with everything that was coming out from him. He was. This one kind of confused me because it kind of contradicts what we heard last week. He said he's not sure what the holdup would be at this point regarding Justin Jefferson's contract extension. And correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't there something that came out last week about it being kind of built into his current contract that the renegotiation can start?
Yeah, so I can't remember who had the original piece about it. It might have been Dan Graziano, maybe at ESPN, but the Vikings have some sort of salary cap, not salary cap, like a signing bonus related thing that they can't really sign him till like the end of June or July 1st, which is right around the start of training camp. It hasn't been announced yet, but that's a potential thing to look out for. So that maybe they're waiting for some like kind of restructuring, or maybe it just helps them financially or on the books if they can wait till after that. But I think what Alec Lewis was saying is like kind of what's the hold up at this point with Justin Jefferson. Like both parties probably know what they want or what to expect. I mean, they've been having these negotiations for, well over a year now. So I don't know. Lewis said the deal will get done. It's just, he's surprised that it hasn't taken place like already when they already know. And he understood like during training camp, or not training camp, but the whole draft, like, okay, we got to put all that to the back burner. So maybe there is some financial things that they know what they have the deal kind of somewhat in place. They're just waiting for maybe a certain date, which that end of June, July 1st timeframe, maybe they help some, financially, and maybe better for the books for the future. I don't know. But yeah, it'll get done. It's just the closer we, like the storm cloud brewing, the longer we wait. And, there's going to be drama. It's probably tomorrow. I don't expect Justin Jefferson to show up for OTAs. He didn't last year. It is voluntary. So, it's fine. But the more it waits, the more news articles, headlines come out, and just the drama builds. So we'll see.
Yes, that'll come out tomorrow for sure. Justin Jefferson not at OTAs. Oh my God.
Everybody panic. Yeah. But training camp, then it gets a little like the TJ Hawkinson, the Hunter situation. Is he going to come and do the hold in or the hold out situation? I'm just prefer they don't do that and just eliminate the drama and move forward into the season. Absolutely.
Let's end with some JJ McCarthy Nuggets. Your boy, JJ McCarthy. Let's start with this one. Ben Lieber said he doesn't expect to see JJ McCarthy start until December 1st, which is week 13 against the Cardinals. Week 13?
Yeah, even Ben Gosling and Michael Rayon today, actually on their Access Vikings podcast, said the exact same thing. They think he should be starting by the Falcons game. If not, that's probably either one, Sam Darnold's lighting it up and having an MVP type season, or JJ McCarthy's way behind schedule, which would be concerning. But yeah, it seems like most people are kind of predicting JJ McCarthy to start around that time frame. I was expecting sooner, but then once I saw the schedule come out this week, I don't even know if it's worth throwing him at. Hopefully he does well and he starts week 1. And I think the best way to learn is learn, while you're playing. But it's a pretty brutal gauntlet. I mean, you guys have talked about it earlier this week in the schedule. It's a pretty rough schedule. There's some talks out of the bye, but then it's even Detroit. That's a tough game. And then it's a short week going to LA and the time zones and stuff. And then it's 3 straight road games. And then they come back home for their 3-game stint there. And I think that's kind of the target for them, for the Vikings, at least from what the beat writers are saying. And a lot of the, people that work for the Vikings organization. Obviously nothing concrete from like Kevin O'Connell or Kwesi or anything like that. So yeah, I'm kind of disappointed as that late, but seeing the schedule, it kind of makes sense. And, who knows, maybe Darnold's just sucking bad and, they're 1-5 or something out of the bye or 1-4 out of the bye, and they got to just mix it up and start him. So yeah, it's just kind of the way the schedule worked out. I could see why they're targeting that week.
Could be 1-5, and Darnold wouldn't. I mean, he could be playing well, and he could still be 1-5.
Yeah, I agree. This season's weird. I don't know how to read it. I'm not expecting much. I think like 7-10 is probably where I put him at right now. Obviously, a lot of things can change, and if JJ McCarthy is like elite and comes in and just lights things up, I mean, I could see 7 wins plus or minus 3 off that, to be honest. So we'll see what happens.
Your range. Yep. Well, and you kind of alluded to this, but Ben Gosling said this week too. He said it doesn't necessarily matter if JJ McCarthy is better than Sam Darnold. The Vikings still may not start him. It's if they feel he's ready to be, what was it? The word, an actual, not even a day one starter, but elite, showing elite quarterback traits. Until he shows that and understanding that, they're not going to put him out there.
Yeah, so his point is like it's not like a horse race, I think is the word he used, between him and Darnold. Like as soon as JJ McCarthy's better than Darnold, like gets the green light, he gets to go. I think what his point is saying that like the Vikings have a plan in place, these benchmarks. It's like he's got to hit them all, and even if he's better than Darnold in this whole thing, that doesn't necessarily mean he's gonna start, because they do want to protect him. It is kind of one of those things. It's not like baseball where you can kind of get sent down to the minors and then back up again. Like once you start in the NFL, you don't really get benched again. And when that kind of starts to happen, the media just kind of eats you alive, and the fans. So I think the Vikings really want to throw him in once he's truly ready. And that means he could be better than Darnold week 1, but he might not be where they see him at his peak. So they may wait those extra few weeks to get him to this level before they unleash him. So I think that's what Ben was trying to say is he could be lighting it up, showing better that he's Darnold, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to start.
Fans will be going ape shit.
Oh, I know.
It's going to be.
I think the fans drive a lot more than the kind of the beat right. I don't know. A lot of the beat writers are real negative on McCarthy right now, and they've only seen him once in rookie minicamp. And the books say he's like plus 120. He's probably not going to start week 1. I mean, that's a slight underdog. It's not that terrible. I think the odds are, like I said this before, last couple of weeks, I think it's a little bit higher than people think. But after seeing the schedule, I might not be as gung ho about it, but. Because you just don't want to get him thrown into the wolves.
Yeah.
And then we're 1 in 6, 7, 8, and then it's 2 wins maybe, and then it's just a spiraling downward season. But I think they're going to protect him at all costs. And then unleash him.
All right, let's end with Mr. Positivity, Alec Lewis, again, talking with JJ McCarthy at rookie minicamp. He saw McCarthy throw a lot of inaccurate passes. He said they might not all be his fault. And he compared him to a pitcher that throws a 98-mile-an-hour fastball but no curveball or changeup.
Lewis was down this week. I don't know. He was like optimistic, and then he had just, I don't know, having a bad day or a bad week or whatever. But yeah, he's pretty much – it's kind of weird how they all had their own different opinion. Like Gosling even said, like, he looked pretty good. He was throwing a lot of good passes. He did have some, inaccuracy moments. Collar was really high on McCarthy coming out of the rookie minicamp. But Lewis was, he can throw the ball really good. He's semi-accurate, but he doesn't have touch. So, his intermediate passes or short passes, he's just whipping those fastballs, kind of compared it to baseball where he only has one, really good skill set. And he really needs to work on kind of the curveball and the, all the other type of baseball pitches, like knuckleballs and stuff like that he doesn't have. So I think he said he only saw like 20 passes. So, and it's kind of hard to judge anything off that. So I think we'll get a lot more information by the end of this week after OTAs, and hopefully it's a lot more positivity coming out of TCO.
Let's hope so. I'm not worried. I think any little thing is going to be blown out of proportion, good or bad. So I expect a whole lot more of this to come between now and start of the season.
Yeah, and it's Sam Darnold's new too to the scheme. I know he's played for Shanahan, so he's probably got a little leg up on the whole thing, but it's not like he's Kirk Cousins, been in the system 3 years and is light years ahead. So he's got a chance to surpass it with the rookies. They've been grinding and the draft and all the interviews that they've had and traveling around. So for rookies, the season could be really long, and I don't know. Maybe they want to give him a little break, easing it in, but we'll see out of the whole thing.
Hell yes. Well, Justin, thank you again for hopping on, giving us all the latest Vikings purple news and nuggets. Happy birthday again to you. Go have a drink for me.
Will do.
Really would appreciate you doing that. The stronger, the better, for sure.
Cheers.
And remember this as you're thinking about your birthday. Dinosaurs are not technically extinct since birds are considered by science as a type of dinosaur.